Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Okewumi Vera and this is the Wumi's Talk Show. So today being the 10th of September 2020, we are creating awareness for the World Suicide Prevention Day. And it is organized by the International Association for Suicide Prevention. Now, what is the purpose of this day? The purpose of this day is to create awareness, not just in Nigeria, but around the globe, that suicide can actually be prevented. And so today, I will be using my platform to share with you how suicide can be prevented. But before I go to how suicide can be prevented, you cannot prevent suicide without knowing the warning signs, the risk, and the protective factors of suicide. So I'm going to share with you first the warning signs, risk, and protective factor for suicide. But before I get to that, if you're just watching my videos for the first time, a very big welcome to you. Thank you for joining the TWTS family, meaning the Wumi's Talk Show. Do not forget to hit the red subscribe button below and turn on your post notification just right beside the red subscribe button so that when I post new videos, you can see them first. And also do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and also let me see your comments in the comment section below. Suicide does not have one single cause. Certain factors like substance abuse, untreated depression can lead to a higher risk of suicide. And that is why today I'm going to be sharing with you the warning signs, the risk and protective factors for suicide. Talking about killing oneself or wanting to die is one major warning sign you should look out for. When you have people around that are always saying, I want to die, I feel like killing myself right now, please take note. They are prone to committing suicide. Don't ignore the sign when you see it. Another warning sign is looking for every means to kill themselves. Oh, I tried to use. They're always looking for every means. If sniper doesn't work, they want to look for rope. They'll be asking you questions like, do you think if you hang yourself, you will die immediately? If you take sniper, do you think it will work within one to when people are asking you questions like that, please do not ignore that sign. It's a warning sign that that person wants to commit suicide or wants to attempt suicide. Warning sign is the talking about feeling hopeless and no purpose. The person starts to tell you that they don't have hope or they don't feel purpose in life. They don't see their purpose in life. There is no hope. When you yourself start to feel that way, you should take heed. You should take note and you should not ignore the warning sign. When you start feeling hopeless, when you start feeling empty, when you start feeling like life has nothing to offer you, then it's a warning sign to suicide. Do not ignore it. When somebody talks about being trapped or being in an unbearable pain, please do not ignore. It's a warning sign for suicide. Look out for that person or take care of that person. And if you are the one, then you should look out for your mental health by talking to a professional. Another warning sign is the feeling of being a burden to other people. You feel, I'm a burden to my family. I think I'm going to make my family cares about only me, and I feel like I'm a burden to them. I'm disturbing them. My life makes their own miserable. I think I'm a burden to them. By the time you're having feelings like that, it's a warning sign for suicide attempt or suicidal thoughts. And please, once these warning signs are coming in, do not give room for the thought. Or the moment you start having suicidal thought, like this, you want to kill yourself or you feel like killing yourself, please do not ignore. It's a warning sign for suicide. Another major warning sign is the increase in use of alcohol or substance or drugs. Now, when you have someone who doesn't even take alcohol before, all of a sudden starts taking excessive amounts of alcohol in at the same time, taking drugs a lot, smoking about 15 times in a day, then it's a warning sign for suicide attempt. Sleeping too little or sleeping too much is another warning sign for suicide attempt. When you find yourself sleeping half the day, or you find yourself not even sleeping at all, maybe it's just 1 hour in a day, it's a warning sign for suicide attempt. Also, the feeling of withdrawal or getting isolated. The more you get isolated, the lonelier you are, the more thoughts start coming in your head, and the more depression sets in. So when you start having that isolation feeling, or like to be isolated just to yourself, you don't want to, you're already withdrawing from things you like to do, withdrawing from people, that is a warning sign for suicide. Also, when you have somebody around you who is a usually happy person, or not even always usually happy, but when you see someone around you displaying mood swing all the time, every single time, the person is happy now and in the next 5 minutes they're sad, every time it occurs like that, please do not ignore. It's a warning sign for suicide attempts. If you have experienced this, it's a warning sign for suicide attempts. So now I'm going to be sharing with you the risk factors of suicide. I just shared the warning signs of suicide earlier, and now I'm going to be sharing with you the risk factors for suicide. Substance misuse is a risk for suicide. When you use substance, that is like hard drugs and all those stuffs, when you misuse them, it's a risk factor for suicide. Also, family history of suicide. When a member of a family has committed suicide before, it is a risk factor for the other members of the family to also commit suicide. Easy access to lethal means. Lethal means are things that you can use to harm yourself, like guns, like poisons, like harmful devices or harmful things are lethal means. When you have easy access to those things, or when you are always interested in those things or having those things in your possession, then it's a risk factor for suicide. Or when you see a friend always wanting to buy harmful things, lethal things like gun, please, I want to, you ask that person, what are you using all of these things for? Why do you need them in your possession? What do you want to have them for? It's a risk for that person. Please keep an eye on that person, or you talk to somebody professional to see that person in. Also, recent loss of job or financial instability. When people lose their job, different thoughts start coming to their mind, different feelings start coming to their head. They need people around them because they are at risk of committing suicide. Please, if you have anyone, any friend that has lost their job or they're financially unstable, you have to be around them because they are at risk of committing suicide. Also, people who have recently lost their relationship, either a partner, their husband, or they got divorced by their husband or wives or their spouse that they're actually in love with, please stay by them because they are at risk of committing suicide. Also, one who has previously attempted to commit suicide is at risk to commit another suicide. So please always be around them or keep an eye on them. So those are the risk factors for suicide or for committing suicide. I'm going to be sharing with you the protective factors for suicide, what we can do to protect all the signs and warnings. Protective factors for suicide or of suicide. So I'll be starting with this. We should have cultural and religious beliefs that discourages suicide and encourages self-preservation. If we have the religious body and the cultural body standing firmly against discouraging suicide, discouraging attempts of suicide, discouraging suicide, then, and also encouraging self-preservation, how you need to keep yourself, how you need to stay alive, encouraging things like that, then it's a protective factor for suicide. Having strong connections with the family and community, that anytime you have a problem, anytime you have anything bothering you, you can walk up to your family members and talk to them about it, or you can meet someone in your community and communicate to them about it. Also, educating our youth, teenagers and adults in problem-solving skills and conflict resolution without non-violent means, in a non-violence means. There are platforms where you can learn all those skills, like Peace Enhancement Initiative. It's a program designed to help people handle problems in a peaceful way, in a non-violent way, to solve problems. So we can educate our teenagers, youth, and people in our community on handling problems in a peaceful and non-violent way. Also, there should be restricted access to lethal means for suicide, like guns, Now, not just anybody should be able to have license to guns, or should be able to have access to guns, or should be able to have access to poisonous substances or harmful substances. So, restricted access should be put on lethal means for committing suicide as a protective factor for suicide. There should be easy access to clinical interventions. If I have a problem, I should be able to walk into a mental hospital or a mental clinic where I can see a doctor without being charged with so much amount of money, so that I can save my peace of mind and get my therapy and leave. So there should be easy access to clinical interventions so that people can get to talk to somebody about how they feel to prevent suicide. Another protective factor for suicide is support through ongoing medical and mental health care relationship. So people online, instead of promoting things that are not going to help people or that are going to make people still even think more and get depressed, we should promote things that can educate people on their mental health and also medically influence them, and create an online platform where people can have a relationship with a mental health expertise or a medical doctor. With all this I have said, I have given you the warning signs. I've given you the risk factors, and I've also given you the protective factors. If you're listening to me or you're watching this video, I think you should take note. When you see your friend, when you yourself, when you see people around, your sister, your brother, your family friend, your distant classmate, your distant friend, your distant uncle, exhibiting any of these warning signs or having the risk factor for committing suicide, all you need to do is prevent it. And how do you prevent the suicidal thought or even committing the suicide as an act itself? I'm going to be sharing with you the preventive measures for suicide. The first preventive measure is knowing the warning signs, the risk factors, and the protective factors. And I've told you about that. The warning sign, that is the first thing. When you know that, you can be able to go further to prevent suicide. The second preventive measure is speak up if you're worried. If you have something that's bothering you, find someone you can confide in. Psychology says that when you talk more about your problem to somebody, it relieves you half the burden that is already there. So if you keep it to yourself, you're only making the burden stagnant in your head, in your mind. But when you talk to somebody, it relieves you of the burden that you're carrying. So if you're worried about something, if you're worried about a situation, speak to somebody. Now, if it's not you, if it is a friend of yours that you notice that is worried but doesn't want to speak up, encourage the person, encourage the friend to speak up. Another preventive measure is offering help and support when you can and how you can, in any measure you can. The only way for me to offer help and support is to create awareness and tell people, and always listen to people. How do you want to offer help? You can think of any way, any platform, any how to offer help to someone nearby to you. And if it is you who need help, you can search for help from a professional or your family friend or your parents or your siblings or anybody around you. You can offer help and support to prevent suicide in our society today. The way you can prevent suicide, especially as parents, is to take away every potential means of suicide around people. Potential means of suicide like ropes, long ropes where which someone can pick up and use to hang themselves. It's like poisonous substances that initially you want to use it to kill an animal or trap an insect. When you're done using it for its purpose, take it away, pack it up, and keep it somewhere safe, because you never can tell who is passing by and who might pick it up to use as an attempt to commit suicide. So take away every potential means for suicide. Another means for preventing suicide is encourage positive lifestyle changes. Your life can be better. Your life can be good. Your life can change. Your life can be positive. Your life can go from bad to good. Your life can go from worse to better. Give encouragements like that to people who are having suicidal thoughts or have attempted suicide in the past. And if it is you, give that encouragement to yourself, because it is true. Your life can change from worse. Also, look at suicide as a cry for help. When you hear that word, don't ever take it for granted. When you are in a conversation with somebody and they maybe mention suicide, or they're saying, I just feel like committing suicide, don't always discount that feeling. Always take it as a serious thing. It is a cry for help. Look at it that way. And when we all look at it that way, I feel like we'll be in a better society, because there's some people that already give that signs, that warning sign, but people ignore it. But the moment you can take suicide as a cry for help, when you hear, when you see, when you have the feeling, when somebody talks to you about it, you will take it more seriously and you will look for every means to help that person out. Never discount your feelings. When somebody tells you how they feel about a particular situation, how bad their heart cuts, how bad the situation they're in is, never discount their feeling. Never say, it's just one of his, okay, we have heard you. No, if somebody is telling you something heart to heart, be a good listener. Pick out from their words. Oh, this person sounds like he's going through depression. This person sounds like he's just escaping depression and is about to go back into it. Always take notes of those things. Be a good listener so that you can help somebody out there today. If they are in danger, do not leave them alone. If your friends are in danger, if your family members are in danger, they're going through hard times, that is not the time to leave them alone. When they're going through tough times, do not leave them alone. Be by their side. They need you more than any time at that moment. So if your family friends are in danger, your friends are in danger, your partners are in danger, do not leave them alone. Be by their side. So know and have at the back of your mind that secrets can kill. Now, when somebody tells you, there's something I want to tell you, but it's a secret, only you can know about it, and the person tells you, I have been trying to kill myself, are you going to keep that as a secret for that person, knowing fully well that the person is at the verge of harming or taking their life? No. So you have to know that keeping that kind of secret can kill. What you have to do is go and talk to a professional so that they can get help to that particular person. Do not keep such words. Do not keep such things as secrets. Rather, help the person. Look for means and ways to help the person. Finally, on today's episode of Prevention of Suicide, encourage people to visit a mental health professional once in a while. It is not until you are faced with burdens, it is not until your problem overfills or overflows that you see a medical or mental health professional. You should take time at least once in a month. As human beings, we all go through one stage. We all go through different stages of depression. We all go through different stages of burdens, something that bothers our mind. We all go through stages of sadness, of loneliness. We all go through a point where we feel so down. At this point, you need to speak to a mental health professional. After talking to your God, which is the author and the finisher of our faith, because I'm a Christian and I believe so much in talking to God about your problems. But sometimes you need somebody to talk to. After talking to God, after asking God to help you, share some of your problems with a mental health professional so that they can help you and assist you in taking care of your mental health. Unfortunately, guys, that's all we can take today on the prevention of suicide on the Women's Talk Show. I do hope you have learned. I do hope you take all of these things I've told you into practice. You pay proper attention, and you do not take suicide call or suicide cry for help for granted. And you, in your best way, you try to prevent suicide in your community. Also, do not forget, today is the World Suicide Prevention Day. Light a candle near a window at 8 p.m. on the dot to show your support for the suicide prevention, to remember a lost loved one, and for the survivors of suicide. You can take a picture and use the hashtag WSPD2020 on your various social media platform to show your love and support for a lost loved one and also for suicide survivors. That's all we can take today on the Women's Talk Show. My name is Okewumi, and please do not forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and also let me see your comments in the comment section below. Have a wonderful day or night ahead. Bye.